We're just finishing up our chapter on birds, so now we're just going to talk about bird identification. We've done a little bit of this already with the Cornell app. So our plan, Friday, we're going to learn about bird identification. And then Monday, we'll review what we did, because I'm going to give you a couple birds. And then we're going to take our exam Tuesday. And then there's one on waterfowl, like another exam.
There's no school Monday.
Oh,
And we're just pushed back,
shoot.
right?
Push back a day.
Yeah, probably.
Should be on Tuesday, right?
Okay. I don't think our bird ID review on Monday will take too long, because it's the list of like 12 birds, I think, that I give you that you have to identify. And then there's one on waterfowl specific, so there's another one. So probably on Tuesday, we'll have like the bird ID review, and then it'll be like / waterfowl ID, and we'll take part 2 Wednesday and part 3 Thursday. Sound good? Because part 2 is going to take you probably 20 minutes.
What's part 3? Is part 3?
Waterfowl. Yeah, it's just the ducks. Cool? Does that make sense? No? Yeah. All right. Get out your Cornell app. Because we had done this before, this like ID and stuff, but I really want you to practice the step-by-step, because that's the one we can do. It's the most fun. Then maybe Elaine, you can practice her bird noises, and you can try to see if you can get a ID on that. I've only ever been able to get a turkey. Get my phone to read me as a turkey. Okay, so we don't need it right now. You will have to write down something, because I'm gonna ask so it's gonna be ID on Wednesday, but then there's gonna be like a question that says, name these 4 items. 4 things, super short, but. This all comes from the Cornell website, so you can look it up if you want to later. Because I know how much you guys are bird watchers and you just sit outside for hours on end bird watching. Okay. These are the 4 things I was talking about. So there's 4 things, main things, that they recommend you pay attention to when you're trying to identify a bird. One would be shape and size. So obviously, like if it's a large bird this big, then it's not going to be a robin. And if it has a super long beak, it's also probably not going to be a robin. It's probably going to be something else. So shape and size are something to pay attention to. Color pattern is the next thing. Again, another obvious one. Like a cardinal. What color is a cardinal? It's red. Yeah, everybody knows that. Or what's the most common blue one you see? A blue jay. Yeah. So color pattern is a huge thing. Pheasants. That's another very distinguishable bird. A yellow finch. Yeah. And then behavior. So the next 2 are like the 2 that you kind of have to learn, get familiar with the birds, I suppose. So we'll talk more about each of these later, but like what is it doing and where is it at? So behavior and habitat. Those also play a key point. So because you probably wouldn't see a pelican in the middle of New York or something like that. Right? Oh, wrong button. Okay, now we're going to talk about shape and size. So, learning the bird's silhouette is key to bird identification, because a lot of the times you might not be able to see color distinction on it. So, or if it's early morning or towards dusk where some birds come out, you can only tell by their silhouettes. So, knowing that, compare the birds the unknown bird to birds that you know. What size is it? So, like if you look at that house sparrow, you guys know what a house sparrow is, right? We saw one when we went out walking the other day. Yeah, the dead one. Yeah, the dead one outside was a house sparrow. So it's super small. And then there's a robin, right? A medium-sized bird. You could maybe barely get your hand around it. And then a crow, which is a larger bird. And being able to compare those birds to the unknown bird will give you a leg up in identifying it. And then looking for unique features that they might have. Well, it says it. I was going to say, what does the American robin have? But it has like a kind of long tail and a very triangular beak, whereas the crow is more of a hook-shaped beak. For you anatomy people, what feature on the human body is named after the crow's beak? It is in the shoulder. It's the coracoid process. The coracoid process, yeah, named after the hooked beak of a crow. So unique features that a bird might have. So we're going to practice these silhouetting skills. What bird is that? Would be a pheasant. Well, that one. It's a crow. You guys are taking too long. I gave you two easy ones. What's that? It's a robin. See, I shouldn't have talked about the one, the crow and the robin on the last slide. Yeah. So, just knowing what their shape and size will help you out. And color pattern. So there's a pamphlet is the word, called "Where is the White?" And they use it for identifying waterfowl specifically. I was going to get one, but then come to find out it's like $8, and it's a pamphlet that just folds out like that big by that big. I'm not going to get it. So, but it's using the white stripes specifically on waterfowl to identify where the white is will identify the bird. So like mallards have white on their wings and a white collar. And then here's where you use your Cornell app. You already know what it is, but I want you to practice. So do the step-by-step one. And pretend like you don't know what it's supposed to be. Anybody figure out what bird it is? Hey, it's a mallard. Look at that. You guys are pros. Contrasting colors. So colors that make it, colors that oppose each other, I guess. So if you think of a red-winged blackbird, it's a black bird with a red wing. Or a harlequin duck. Does anybody know what a harlequin duck is? No. It's a black duck with very unique white. I had a picture of it, but I think I got rid of it for the mallard. But it's got very unique white stripes on it, and then kind of an orangish head and a very orange beak. And then unique colors, again, specifically with ducks, but all birds. The green of the head of the mallard is a dead giveaway. And another thing about mallards is so only the males have the green head, but the females also have this blue wing on them, or the males do too, obviously, but the females also do. So that's an easy way for you to figure that out. I know none of you are duck hunters, so you can't. But when you are duck hunting, there's a limit of 6 birds. You can have 6 birds total. And then as per the GFP websites, you can have like 2 hen mallards. You can have like 1 wood duck, 6 teal. You can have a full bag of teal. So it's important for some people to know what they're about to shoot, and you have to do it very quickly because it's coming in. So knowing what you're seeing is important by the color. Okay, we're going to do that same thing again. You guys know this one. I'm all ready. Do the Cornell thing. I would say that's the size of a sparrow. Copyright? Oh yeah, this picture comes from Cornell. Most of these pictures come from Cornell because apparently they're the only people that take pictures of birds and post them online. And they take really good pictures, so. There it is. Yeah, they're a super distinct one. All right, going to behavior. So, there's a bunch of things. Posture is the first one. So if you think of, what does anybody know what that's? Before we start, let's do this one, since we're on it, because then it'll bring up a point. You think it's what? You'd think so. You'd have to find out on your phone. I promise. Yes. Then I want somebody to hit me with its call when you figure it out. It is a red-tailed hawk. It's not a Cooper's hawk. Yeah. What? It might be. Who knows? I might have put it in. I don't know. Yeah. So when they when they play, like they show a bald eagle on a movie, and they play that screech, they actually use a recording of a red-tailed hawk over the eagle. Yeah. Because an eagle, maybe we'll do it at the end, but it's more of like a squeak squawk. I don't know how to describe it, but it's not the screech, the American scream that you hear. So that's a red-tailed hawk. So what's something about a red-tailed hawk? Why would it be posturing such as that, like that? What does it look like it's doing? It's watching. Yeah, it's very attentive, looking for prey. So yeah, the red-tailed hawk would have a very attentive posture, whereas if you think of chicken, I don't know, pheasant, they're quite, I don't know, relaxed when you look at them. They seem relaxed to me. Feeding. What is it eating? A good one is a woodpecker. What does a woodpecker do? It eats bark? Not quite. What does it eat? Bugs? Yeah, grubs. Grubs in the tree, right? Jacob knows. Yeah. So yeah, it's feeding on the grubs in the tree by pounding its beak into the tree violently. I think we talked about this before, but the woodpecker's tongue wraps around its brain to provide cushioning for its brain so it doesn't get a concussion. And it's true. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty long. I don't know. I've never seen one in person, like the tongue of a woodpecker. Movement. We talked about this before. What's unique about a robin's movement? It hops, yeah. Bounces around like a kangaroo. probably looking for worms. I don't know if there's a specific reason. Maybe Mr. McMahon said this. He knows more about that than I do. But yeah, it hops. Or if you think of, well, not flight pattern, but a pheasant, they scurry, I'd call. Pretty good at scurrying. Flight pattern, blackbirds. I'll show you a video of not blackbirds, but here's a bucket list item for you. Go to a marsh at sunrise on a nice day in October. Very specific. Because you'll see, I think it's one of the coolest things where there'll be flocks of 100, 200 blackbirds in this flock. And they'll be doing crazy patterns in the air and coming up and flying down. It's the coolest thing. So there you go. Before you die, you have to go watch some blackbirds it's very peaceful. And then flocking. What kind of flocking is the bird doing? Is it in pairs, like doves? Doves like to hang out in pairs. Or is it like, nope, that, where there's huge flocks of these birds that number into the 10,000s. Does anybody know what bird this is? This would be? You would know. Not a seagull. They come twice a year. Snow goose, yeah, those are snow geese. And they love to hang out in groups of 20,000s. It's ridiculous. You guys have seen it, but the first time, I took my roommate hunting once in the morning. We didn't get any, so we're going home early. And he had never seen a flock of snow geese, and that flock had stretched from, I don't know, 10 miles. It was a 10-mile stretch. As far as you could see, just one big, long flock of snow geese, and he just couldn't get over it. He's like in his chair looking up at the sky. It's pretty cool. You guys have seen it, though, so it's nothing amazing to you. So yeah, is it in a group? Is it alone? Is it in a huge flock? Is another way to tell. Let's watch a YouTube video, huh? This will be about 2 minutes. I don't think there's any sound to this. Does anybody know what these are? So it's not as good as this, I will agree. Somebody had this bird. I don't think, might be. Oh, I was thinking it was starting with an F. Yeah, it's a starling. You had that bird. Yeah. So when they flock together, around here we don't really see this. This is more of like East Coast sort of stuff. But yeah, they have crazy flock things. Have you ever seen the movie Arrivals? No. It's well, it looks like that in my opinion, but it's kind of alien looking. Have you seen the movie Arrivals?
Which one?
Arrivals. It has I forget her name. Never mind. But it's about aliens come to Earth and then they communicate via like ink splotches. I know. Whatever. Watch the movie. I can't if you haven't seen it. It is. I don't know why they do it, but the blackbirds. Yeah. It's kind of nuts. So yeah, starlings. How is it flying? Starlings do that. Blackbirds kind of do that, not as well. What is it eating? What is that? Do the thing. Is it? I already know. Downy woodpecker. Is it a downy woodpecker or is it? What's the other one? It does look like a woodpecker. There's two types of woodpeckers that look very similar: a red-breasted woodpecker and a downy woodpecker. There you go. Do you know the difference? Yeah, it's a downy. I just wanted you to do it. That's its call?
Yeah.
Huh. Here's another thing to look at. When you think of, I don't know if you ever watch birds fly much, but some birds look like they're too heavy for their wings to keep them in the sky. So they kind of bounce. So I think the bottom one is a woodpecker, and the top one is a finch. So it's like every wing beat, Flappy Bird. It's basically Flappy Bird. They look like they're Flappy Bird. They sink and rise every flap. I'm so good at Flappy Bird. But if it's flying in a straight line, like waterfowl do, they don't dip a lot, then it's not it's a process of elimination. Snow geese. Habitat. So, there's a couple things to think about when you're in a habitat. Obviously, like I was saying, you probably wouldn't see a pelican in New York. That's what I used, I think. You wouldn't see a blackbird usually, a red-winged blackbird in any form, like around here. You'd have to go to a marsh to find it. I don't know of any other birds that are quite like that, but yeah, where is it at? So if you are in a marsh, then you're probably going to see more ducks than you would pigeons. Or if you're by a grain silo, you're probably going to see a lot of doves and pigeons, but not a lot of finches. Yeah, probably not too many finches around. And then by looking at range maps, what is a range map? Does anybody know? What? Yeah. Like how far north do they live and how far south do they go? Or if they're non-migratory, are they even in your area? And then time of year, are they out and about this time of year? Those are all things to consider. I have another one that looks quite similar to this. I should have flopped them. Oh, and then we're going to go through all these birds again, because the birds I've been showing you are the birds that are going to be on your exam. But learn its full name, because, yeah, that's a dove, but it's a Eurasian dove, and it's a Eurasian collared dove, yeah. It's a Eurasian collared dove, and each, gives you a mourning dove kind of sounding thing. And each specific, like a mourning dove is different from a collared dove because it's not invasive for one, and their behaviors are different. So each bird has its own unique characteristics that set it apart from other birds. So making a distinction in the naming is important. And then this you can find on Cornell. It is just a list, or I don't know if you'd call this a list, but where you can see it and what's the probability of seeing one of these for that time of year. So if you look at that's a good one, greater yellowlegs. Do you think greater yellowlegs migrate? Or a killdeer or American oyster catcher? Probably not. What about a black-netted silt, number 3 on the list? Migratory bird. Yeah, it probably. Do you think it summers here? Do you think it lives here for a while? Or do you think it's just passing by? Just passing by, yeah. So looking at these things can tell you if a bird's going to be in the area or not. Here's a range map. Which one was that? Dang it. I knew what one that was last night, but I forget at the moment. But this is where you can find it, a specific bird. What about, why only these two regions and not in the middle too? It's too hot, yeah. And these two regions would be similar in climate. The ones on the north, ones in the south, they'd be much more similar in climate than the middle area would be. Try it out. You might be able to get it. Oh, I haven't been telling you their size. Has that been thrown off your results? Because you kind of need to compare size at the very beginning.
You find it in Coleman?
I don't think you can find these ones in Coleman. You can find its relatives in Coleman, and the relatives look awfully similar to it. Yeah, well, yeah. So this is an Arctic tern, but a common tern is pretty close. And an Arctic tern, I would not have guessed it made that noise. But an Arctic tern actually has the largest migration of any animal in the world. And you can see that right here. Every year, it goes from the North Pole to the South Pole per the weather. So it probably wants to be in the North Pole in the summer. So come August, it's probably flying down towards the South Pole to winter, or summer, I guess, at the South Pole. And then once the South Pole starts getting cold again, it flies back. So it does that twice a year. That's a super long journey. Should have figured out how many miles that was. All right. So it is Jerry. What is Jerry? Yeah. Look it up. So these next couple will be the last one. I couldn't fit it into the slides, so you'll just. Does it do the picture thing? I told you what it is. Great horned owl. No. Really? I would think, hey, that's an owl. This summer, the first time I ever saw an owl, second time I ever saw an owl was this fall. But first time I ever saw an owl, true fact. I was with my boss, and we were driving down this cornfield for whatever. And this owl had come out. We scared it out of a tree, and a pheasant got up at the same time in front of us. It flew, knocked the pheasant out of the sky, and kept on flying. It was so crazy. We were guessing.
I have a question. So,
Yeah.
my parents live on the lake, and they happen to have owls and stuff, and they drove back home, and there was an owl sitting on the ground, and there was blood all over. And so my dad, of course, because he's old and whatever else,
Yep.
said that he just needed to call the people that they call, and
Yeah.
they said that, and then after they called them, they were going to come and get it. And after they called, it ended up flying away, and they said that sometimes after they've eaten their prey, they get fat and lazy,
Oh,
and they sit there. And so that's why there was blood all over us, because he had eaten.
that's crazy.
Yeah, and it also they just got up and flew away, but it had been sitting there for a long time. But I've heard that, or that's what they said, is that they get lazy.
Huh, I did not know that.
Like,
Yeah, just sit around for a little bit. No kidding. That's interesting. Getting lazy. Yeah, so owls are cool. Moving on. What's this one? You might be able to tell. Some people may. It is a killdeer. I didn't manipulate the picture any. I just enlarged it by the corners. Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's usually about
They're usually round.
yay big. Yeah, there you go. I was hoping somebody would hit me with that. I hate that sound. It's the most annoying to me. Yeah. They love, when you're duck hunting, they love to fly and swoop at you, and it always throws you off. What's this one? I guess you'll find out. A mourning dove. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the, hit me with its call. Yeah. It's mourning as in not morning time, but the state of sadness. Oh, I remembered a story that I had about not an owl, but a hawk, a red-tailed hawk. I used to have a football coach in high school, and he caught a red-tailed hawk, like as a baby, and he kept it in this cage because we were the Red Hawks, that's line Red Hawks. He kept it in this cage, and he'd feed it pigeons he caught on his farm. He's a weird dude, but yeah. We went out to see it once. He's like, "You want to see something?" He had another cage with his pigeons that he caught in it, and he grabbed one, tossed it in there, and then pounced on it. It was awesome. What's that? Yeah, full-grown hawk. Yep. I forget his name, but yep. What's this one? Are you sure? Okay. Yeah. Hit me with it. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I would have thought it would sound more like a red-tailed hawk. Last one. Blue jay. Yeah. Okay, somebody look up eagle sounds. And then somebody, what's that bird called? Oh my gosh, it has the coolest. Yeah, there you go. That's what an eagle sounds like.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that weird though how they do that?
Yeah, play it over movies. Yeah.
Because they want it to sound more.
Yeah, like,
Because that sounds like beat stuff.
it does. It does, yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. Yep, but that's an eagle. What's it mimics? It's a bird that mimics. What is that called? Dang it. Maybe on Monday I'll show you it. But I was watching a TikTok on it where it would make the noise you get from a tweet. Or no, it was the noise that an Android phone would make when they got a message. Now, it might be a mockingbird. That would make sense if it was a mockingbird. That's a mockingbird or a blue jay? It wasn't this, but oh, it's that one right there. This is the bird I was talking about. Not the exact TikTok. Can you hear that? I need it to do the thing it did at the beginning. I'll figure it out in a second. Like, makes a picture sound. Yeah, no, that's a real, yeah, real thing. I forget the bird's name though. In it. Yeah, no, it was the bird. Yes, European star. The starling. Yeah, same one. It probably won't give you a probably won't give you the, what do you want to call it, like mimicking sounds of it, but okay. So make a list, write down the list. Maybe you guys have already done it. So be like list for exam or whatever, because these birds are about to be what's on your exam. The first one, what is that? I need specific names too. Specific names. Ringed neck pheasant, or ring-necked pheasants. There's a apostrophe E in there somewhere. Ring-necked, ring-necked, yeah. Kind of like, did you know it's not white-tailed deer, it's white-tailed deer? Same thing, yeah. Ring-necked pheasant. Not native to America. Comes from Europe, actually China specifically, which is Asia. American crow. Okay, this looks good. Red-breasted robin. Yeah, we'll go mallard duck. Look up what a hen mallard duck looks like compared to a mallard or a male mallard duck. I've said this word a couple times in class. What's the name of the trait that males and females don't look similar? What's that trait called? Or like what's that term called where males and females are different? It's called sexual dimorphism. So when a male has all these pretty feathers to attract a mate, it's called sexual dimorphism. Is that one? House sparrow. That's a male too, by its red head. Red-tailed hawk. And when you see a big flock of snow geese, you probably see some darker colored ones in there too. Those are actually blue geese, not snow geese with sexual dimorphism. But when you test a snow goose and a blue goose, they both have about the same amount of genes. Like they're both genetically similar, just one is blue and one is white. At one point in time, they're two different species, but they hung out so much that at this point they're the same thing, just different colors. It's that one. All right. Nah. Eurasian collared dove. Where do you think it comes from? Europe. And or. Hey, look at that. I do want you to know this one. It's not a native one. I try to go for, a lot of these aren't native, but ones that are around here. But I do want you to know this one because it's a cool fun fact to drop in conversations. Arctic tern. Tern. Is that one? Great horned owl. See, in Middle America, where barn owls are from, they're endangered, but actually on the East Coast right now, they're calling for not hunters, they're trying to figure it out, but they need to cull around 10,000 barn owls from the East Coast because there's just too many. But they're endangered in Arkansas, where they're from, that region. Next one. Killdeer.
Where did they get their name from, do you know?
Oh, I forgot to tell the story. No, I don't know. But you brought up a good point. Killdeer have a really cool behavior. I don't know. I wish I did. But when they're ground nesting birds. Yeah, right. Keep writing when you're while I'm talking. But they're ground nesting birds. So as you get closer to their nests, they flip their wing upside down, mimicking a broken wing, and they'll lead you away from their nest, like a predator they'd lead a predator away from their nest. And once you're 50 yards away, they get up and fly away to just to lead you away. But they pretend like they've broken their wing. Cooper's hawk. And a blue jay. That's it. And I'm not going to show you these exact same pictures. I will show you, like, if it's a male. Like, if I showed you a male here, I don't know those. If I showed you a male, I'll show you a male. But I won't use the same picture, so you have to get it, understand it from all angles. That makes sense? I'll show you a silhouette. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, nah? Okay. All right. That's all I got. See you later.